Hello guys, David Vos here. Well, it's another beautiful day. A lot of white fluffy clouds, a little blue sky, and wonderful, beautiful summer weather. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, friends, I just had a very you know crazy experience. I was up on the roof of my porch, nailing and fixing things. I've got a lot of work up there still to do. I'm just about done now, and whistling a tune, and everything was good in the world, and I could see from the roof down to where my driveway reaches the road, and I saw two what looks like a sheriff and maybe another sheriff vehicle, one of those SUV kind of things, and pickup sheriff vehicle. And I thought, well, maybe they're surely just driving past or going somewhere. Well, they pulled in to my property, so I thought, what the heck? And I got down off the roof and walked out there, and the man introduced himself and asked me if I was David Vos, and I said yes. And he said, well, we've gotten a report about your dogs. And this is the second time. You guys remember I told you about this before. Well, I only have 5 dogs now, and they had told me that I can only have 4. And they claimed that it was a ordinance by the grants, a grants ordinance that's incorporated this area or something. Or I don't know what word they used, because I looked it up, and where I'm at is an unincorporated area. We're not in the city limits. We are in the county of Cibola, but so I don't know all the laws of this. But I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm 60 miles from the little dinky town of Grants, New Mexico. And evidently they're enforcing animal control out here. And of course, the only reason they're out here is because, well, earlier, before I got up on the roof, I was about to get up on the roof, and this guy goes across my property on a 4-wheeler. And he's been going across it, and I've tried to run out there to talk to him, and he'll just go and he won't talk to me. And I tried getting on my 4-wheeler and chasing him, but by the time I get up the top of the hill, he's gone. And so I did that again today, but this time I gave it the gun, and I kept following, and I tried to find him, and again I lost him. So I came back, and I wasn't here more than a few minutes, and here he comes again, back the other way. And and I was hollering, hey, you got, excuse me, let me talk to you. By the way, this is my property. And he was just, I was pretty sure he heard me. I mean, pretty hard not to hear somebody, even though you got a little 4-wheeler going. But when he came back, I was thinking, well, I see. He did hear me. Now he's on his way back to talk to me. But he kept on going right through my property again. So I thought, what in the world? I guess I'm just going to have to fence it or something. And my dogs, of course, were out there barking at him on my property. So that's like a few minutes later, the sheriff comes out and says that somebody complained about my dogs. I said, well, I know who complained, because I just had this issue with this man. And I told him to get off my property. And, and I'm not trying to be mean. You guys know that I wouldn't be like that. I mean, if there was a neighbor that walked across my property, I probably wouldn't say anything. In fact, there have been. And it's not like, I would welcome visitors. But the reason why I was, intent on stopping him this time is because I had talked to the guy down the road about a week or two ago. And I had said, that this guy was going across my property, and I couldn't, talk to him. He wouldn't talk to me, and I didn't know what he was doing. And that guy said, oh, they're thieves. And they drive up along the hill, and they look down on your property. And if you're not there, they come in and get all your stuff while you're not there, and then they take off. And I'm saying, well, can you stop them? And he said, no, because that man claimed that we're in an area where it's free range, he says, meaning that you can walk on anyone's property and it's legal unless they have it fenced. So I'm like, okay, well, that's odd. But, now I'm a little worried about this guy who's a thief who's going to be going by every day looking to see if I'm here, and if I'm not here, he's going to take my stuff. So this is why I wanted to talk to the guy to make sure I knew who he was and what he was up to. So he wouldn't talk to me. So he called the sheriff. So the sheriff said, okay, you got one extra dog, you got 5. I'm going to give you a citation. Let me see your driver's license. I'm not going to show you my driver's license. I haven't committed a crime. And I said, you cannot take my dog, and I will not give him to you. And the only way you're going to take my dog is if you come out here with guns and shoot him. And I said, the Lord, that will be between you and the Lord. I asked him if he understood that that was a policy of the Nazi regime, that I was not under any ordinances. I didn't consent to be under any ordinances of any city or county, that we were in the middle of nowhere, that everyone else out here had a lot of dogs. Some of them may have had more than 4 dogs. I'm pretty sure I've seen more than 4 with several of the neighbors, and that they run out in the road and chase cars. My dogs only run out to the road where the cars are driving past my property and bark, but they don't follow them down the road or anything, which other dogs in this area do. In fact, there are dogs just wandering around all over sometimes, and nobody says anything. But the only reason that anybody's doing anything is because, as I told you guys, was it several months ago now, I was bringing in one of these trailers that you saw me bringing in here, with their park model RVs. They're quite large. And I had a flat tire, and nobody could get around me for a few hours until I got a tow truck come out and bring a tire and get the tire fixed, and then I was able to go on. Well, these people came out that lived down this road here, and they were so rude, it was unbelievable. They called me every name in the book. They, they were, after that, there was a couple of incidents, but, so I knew they had it out for me, and that was when the first time that the sheriff came. So, of course, they didn't have anything to get me on, but they said, well, the guy has a bunch of dogs. And so when they report you, then they come out. And if they come out and see that you have more than the allotted dogs or whatever, then they cite you, evidently. So when that guy came out, he didn't do anything. He just handed me the law, gave me these ordinances, which I don't know that are valid. And I'd like to know if any of you know anything about this. Can a county enforce laws like that out in the middle of the mountains, miles away from any city or any, there's no road services, no garbage services, there's no mail service, they don't fix the roads or even grade them or anything. It's completely unincorporated area out in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, I'll get to that. So I said to the guy, well, if the only way, that you're going to get this dog is you're going to have to come out here. And if you think that in your heart that it's the right thing to do to take and murder my dog, then that will be between you and the Lord. I said, if you do that, I won't stop you, because I don't, you have guns, but I ask you to search your conscience and understand that we're going into the one world government, and you're working for that one world gestapo. And it will be between you and the Lord what you decide to do. And he said, so you're not going to give us your drivers? I said, no. And they said, well, here's the citation, sign it. I said, I won't sign it. Because usually these things that they want you to sign are some admission to guilt. And you don't have any legal obligation to sign anything or even to answer any questions. But, and you don't have to let them on your property either, which I don't, when they're harassing me like that. They stopped before they got all the way into my yard both times. They came in just part way and I met him out there and didn't invite them in. But the one thing that was happening while this was going on is they were about to leave, and I said, okay, I want to ask you one more thing. What ordinances that I'm violating, what are you going to give me a citation for? And they said, and the sheriff said, for having your dogs unrestrained or, running around without your supervision or something. And I said, that is not true. You're standing on my property. My dogs are with me. And he said, okay, well, then we're going to give you a citation for having one dog more than you're allowed to have. You're supposed to only have 4, so we're going to give you a citation for having 5 dogs. Well, the other guy that was the animal control man, he didn't hear that. So he was writing out the ticket for having the dogs not with me. Whatever, I can't remember how they put that, like unrestrained or running wild or something, whatever they say. But of course my dogs weren't. And so I said, but okay. So I asked the other guy, that's what you're going to write me a citation for, right? I said, which one of you are going to write the citation? And the other guy, and the sheriff said, that guy, he's the animal control. And I said, what are you giving me the citation for? Not, what the sheriff says. And the guy says, for having your dogs running without supervising them. I guess not being on a leash or whatever. I'm out, I've got 20 acres out here in the middle of nowhere, and they want my dogs to be on a leash. And I started telling them about how I have coyotes here, that this is a small farm ranch. I have chickens. My dogs take care of this place and protect me. That other neighbors have more than 4 dogs. They're not saying anything about that. I said, and by the way, are you going to go and try and stop that guy from driving across my property? Are you going to find out what's going on? Because they say he's going to steal stuff, and they're harassing me. And he said, yeah, we'll go check it out. So anyway, it ended up that the 2 guys were arguing about what kind of a citation to give me. The sheriff wanted to give me a citation for having too many dogs, and the animal control was trying to give me a citation for having my dog running free. And the sheriff said, well, the dogs are not running free. He told the guy, the dogs are not running free. They are with him. So the animal control says, oh, darn, I guess I can't give him a citation for that one. And he says, you give him a citation for having too many dogs. And then the man looked at me and said, now, we are going to give you a citation. We're going to send it to you in the mail. You'll have to appear before a court. I said, look, I'm not going to a court. And if I get something in the mail saying that you're going to take my dog or kill my dog, I'm not going to respond to it. I'm not going to sign anything. It's going to have to be up to you. If you think it's important, you yourself and your conscience. If you're a good person, do you believe that you should be harassing me, coming out here, taking my dog? What are you going to do with it? Murder it? Put it down somewhere? Right? Because it's in a loving home, on a ranch, doing its thing. I don't think you even have jurisdiction here. This is an unincorporated area. Anyway, this is what I told them. And they just said, well, we're going to send you the citation, and drove off. And they went down the road, I guess maybe looking for the person I was talking about, but they were only gone for about 10 minutes. And I don't think they found anybody, to be honest with you. And then they turned around and left. So that's the fun that I'm having today. And my heart was hurt, and it made me very sad. I don't like having the anxiety and to deal with all of this, especially at this point in I come out here for peace and as a refuge from the city and from the laws. And I don't understand, these laws, and I'm not even sure that they're legal. I did look up online about some of these things, and evidently you can go to court and fight some of this, but you have to have a lawyer, I guess, because some of their laws may be things that they've come up with that maybe even aren't constitutional. Some of the things they try to get you on is not allowed by the state that the county is in or something, and you know, so there are some people who have won court cases involving this. But I think what I'm going to do, but I would like input from all of you, please. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go to court. And I don't believe, now, that's another thing, is I'm not sure, I know they can give me a fine. And of course, if they keep giving me fines and I don't pay it, then they can take my property, right? They can just come out and tell me to leave, too, eventually. Of course, I don't think we're going to have time for that. So I think we're getting close to the Great Tribulation. But it's not like I can just go in and pay the fine and then it would be over, because I'm still in violation if I have more than 4 dogs. And so what they're asking me to do, I cannot do. I am not going to get rid of my dog. I am not going to put it down, and I'm not going to give it away. I have these 5 dogs, and they're my dogs, and I don't believe it's right. I don't think it's even constitutional, and I don't think it's even legal for them to come out here in the middle of nowhere on my property and tell me I can't have 5 dogs. And by the way, I also told them, I never admitted that I had 5 dogs. I told them I only had 4 dogs, and that the other dog was my daughter's. And they said, well, then we're going to come out here in a week, and if she's not here to confirm that, then we're going to cite you. And I said, well, no, if you come out here and she's not here, you're still not going to take my dog, because that dog will be here indefinitely until my daughter gets here, which is all true. But so I wasn't quite sure. I think before, as he left, he said they were just going to send me a citation. They're going to cite me. So, and I'd have to go to court. And I told him, well, I won't go to court. So I just won't show up. I don't know what you're going to do. But if you come out here and you shoot my dog, I mean, I don't think you're going to catch my dog, but if you shoot my dog, that'll be on you. And may the Lord judge between you and I. But after that, I've just been sitting here and trying to figure out what to do. And I was reading issues on it and stuff. My inclination is that there might be some legal thing I could do, but I'm probably just going to pray about it and ask the Lord to intervene, and perhaps they'll just drop it, or they'll fine me and I won't pay it, and it'll go through some kind of litigation in the mail, and I just won't answer. And then they'll have to decide whether to take my property and everything I own just because I have 1 extra dog. But that doesn't sound like a very smart thing to do either. But I don't know how I can rectify it, because the only thing I could do is to remove one of my dogs to become legal. And I mean, I could jump through some kind of hoop or something and go get some license or something for a kennel or whatever could be done maybe. But, not really thinking that I want to do that. I think maybe what they're doing to me, the law's doing here, in my opinion, is beyond illegal. I mean, whether it's legal or not, I don't know. But it is immoral and ridiculous because of the fact that everybody else has many dogs out here. Because I can't imagine a farm not having more than 4 dogs. If you're a cattle rancher or a chicken raiser like myself, or, with all these coyotes and things and out here for protection, I think it's the most ridiculous law I've ever heard. But, I mean, there's no way they can make me fence my property so that they can stay in my property. I have 20 acres. I don't even have the money to fence it. And the only other thing I could do is, as far as them running out to the road and barking at the dogs or the cars going by, is to tie them up or something, or put them in a pen, which I will not do. So I don't see any way to conform to any of their requirements. But I want to make this video and put it out. Hopefully some of you will watch this, and some of you may have some ideas. And if any of you know any legal way or anything that I could do or any knowledge that I should know about this going into it, I would appreciate it, friends. Um, I don't want to lose my dog, but I mean, I can take the dog and hide that one dog. But I don't even know how I do that. And I'm not one to, you know, jump through hoops to comply or pretend I'm, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I feel like I don't have anything to hide. I've done anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. I think it's unjust. And I'm more the type of person that just looks at the sheriff and says, "What are you doing? What? What? Why are you here? I'm on my property, minding my own business. A guy drives across my property with a four-wheeler and says the dogs are after him. That his dogs are barking at him. My dogs are barking at him. And I know that he just doesn't want me here because he wants to be able to, if I leave or something, that he'll come and take all my things, right? Tear down my cabin and take all my boards or whatever he wants to do. Um, I don't know what's going on, but I'd like any advice that any of you may have. And yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and go. I pray the Lord bless you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.